His Divine Grace, His Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mantrad Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Thai Gaur Premanande. All verses somebody goes. All verses somebody goes. All verses somebody goes. All verses Shri Guru Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So today morning we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, text number 24. So I'll just read the verse, 24. 3:2:24. I'll just read the verse and then we'll just repeat the translation. Manyasura Bhagavatam Striyadisha Samramba Marga Binavishta Chittan Yesam Yuge Chakshata Tarkshaya Putram Amse Sunabhyayudamapatanantam. Translation. I consider the demons who are inimical towards the Lord to be more than the devotees, because while fighting with the Lord, they were absorbed in thoughts of enmity. We are able to see the Lord carried on the shoulder of Garuda, the son of Tarksha, Kashyapa, and carrying the wheel weapon in his hand. Can you repeat? I consider the demons who are inimical towards the Lord to be more than the devotees, because while fighting with the Lord they were absorbed in thoughts of enmity. They were able to see the Lord carried on the shoulder of Garuda, the son of Tarksha, Kashyapa, and carrying the wheel weapon in his hand. Purport by His Divine Grace, Lacey Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The asuras who fought against the Lord face to face got salvation due to their being killed by the Lord. This salvation of the demons is not due to their being devotees of the Lord. It is because of the Lord's causeless mercy. Anyone who is slightly in touch with the Lord somehow or the other is greatly benefited, even to the point of salvation. Due to excellence of the Lord, He is so kind that He awards salvation even to the enemies because they come in contact with Him and are indirectly absorbed in Him by the inimical thoughts. Shri Shri Rukmini Dwarkadesh Bhagavan Ki Jai. Actually, the demons can never be equal to the pure devotees. But Uddhava was thinking in that way because of his feelings of separation. He was thinking that the last stage of his life he might not be able to see the Lord face to face as the demons. The fact is that the devotees who are always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord in transcendental love are rewarded many hundreds and thousands of times more than the demons by being elevated to spiritual planets, where they remain with the Lord in eternal blissful existence. The demons and impersonalists are awarded the facility of merging in the Brahma Jyoti effulgence of the Lord, whereas the devotees are admitted into the spiritual planets. For comparison, one can just imagine the difference between floating in space and residing in one of the planets in the sky. The pleasure of the living entities on the planets is greater than of those who have no body and who merge with the molecules of the sun rays. The impersonalists therefore are no more favored than the enemies of the Lord. Rather, they are both on the same level of spiritual salvation. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manomistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandayam Shri Guru Shri Tapadakamalam Shri Guru Na Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Ganchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shute Devi Pramamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripasindhuvya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Manye Suran Bhagavatam Straidishe Samvaramba Marga Bhavishtan Chitan Yesham Yoge Chaksha Taksha Putram Amse Sunabhya Yudam Apatantam Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Anand Prabhu requested me to give the class. So I'll just try and speak something, although I'm not very much prepared, but it's not a very difficult topic to speak about. This chapter is being spoken by Uddhava. Uddhava is remembering. He was asked about Vidura, for Vidura had asked him about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And for those who know, Uddhava was a pure devotee. Actually, it is said that Uddhava was resembling even the Lord, even in his dress. When people used to see Uddhava, they used to think that the Krishna has come back again. In fact, it is said, I think in the 10th canto, that Uddhava went to see what was the devotion of the Brajavasis in Vrindavan. And when they saw Uddhava, they were all remembering Shri Krishna, Shyam Sundar, the Lord of their hearts. And when Uddhava was seeing the devotion of the Vrajavadus, of the Brajavasis, he was thinking it is better he takes birth just like a grass in Vrindavan. How much devotion that the devotees of the Lord had captured his heart. And in this same verse, Uddhava is remembering the devotion. He is not only remembering the devotion, but he is remembering that those people who saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead were very, very fortunate. And he speaks about the demons. When Krishna came in this world 5,000 years ago, Krishna killed many demons. The previous verse speaks about this. Aho bakiyam stanakala putam. That Putana, she came to kill Krishna. She dressed her, she put some poison on her breast. Put poison on her breast. Wanted to kill Krishna. But what did Krishna do? He sucked out her life, but he gave her the quality, he gave her the position of a mother. Imagine some demon comes today here with a gun. Comes with a gun to rob the temple. And you say, because you stepped into the temple, I'm going to give you free accommodation in Prashad. Just imagine that. Imagine that. That a thief comes in and you say, just because you stepped into inside here, we are not going to look at your quality of becoming a thief, but we are going to give you free accommodation and free prasad. This is the meaning of magnanimous. This is the meaning of being more merciful. He says that Krishna looks at your smallest quality and he gives you the highest reward. Just look how Krishna is so kind. Putana, she came, she wanted to kill Krishna. And Krishna gave her position of mother, equal to Mother Yashoda in Vaikuntha, in Goloka. How much Krishna is so sweet. The demons, they were looking at Krishna. It is said here, the description is given so beautifully, that Krishna who rides on the shoulder of Garuda with his chakra weapon, chakradhari. They were looking at Krishna like this, thinking, we are going to kill Krishna. But because Krishna was enjoying the sporting fight with them, Krishna gave them the opulence of merging, sayujya, mukti, of merging within himself. The rays. It says when Krishna appears, or when Krishna is walking, there's so much rays behind him. All the people who get liberation, the Brahma Jyoti, they compare to these rays. Just like today we went to the beach in the morning, we saw the sun rays. Sun rays. Just before even the sun comes out, we could understand, so much rays, something so powerful. So how Krishna is so kind that you come to kill him and you get liberation of entering within his body. And similarly, many people had so much darshan like this. And we see that Krishna he sees your smallest quality, but he gives you the highest reward. You see the example of Bhishma Dev on the battlefield. Bhishma Dev, when he saw Krishna as the charioteer of Arjuna, the chariot driver, what was his meditation in the fighting? When it is described in the Bhagavatam in the first canto, that when because Krishna was on the chariot as the driver, so many arrows which were being pointed to Arjuna were wounding Krishna. So many places. And blood was oozing. And Krishna with his long hair, because of the dust raised from the hooves of the horses, Krishna's hair had become even brown because of the dust. And because it was so hot, Krishna was sweating. Krishna was sweating. And Krishna's sweat was looking as pearls, beads. Bhishma Dev was thinking about this. He was thinking on the deathbed that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was being wounded, who I had wounded, and blood was oozing, and his sweat was like beads, and his hair was brownish because of the dust from the hooves of the horses. May I see that Supreme Personality of Godhead before me. And he was like this on the deathbed, but he got liberation. So Krishna picks up the least thing that we have and gives us the highest reward. Another example, actually the Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about this. There's a verse in this connection. It says here, where is that verse? Just give me a second. See if I can look for it. So this is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam 7th Canto, chapter 1, text 31. It says here, my dear King Yudhishthir, the gopis by their lusty desires, Kamsa by his fear, Shishupal and the other kings by their envy, the Yadavas by their family relationship with Krishna, and you Pandavas by your great affection for Krishna, you were all able to get devotional service, and you have got the mercy of Krishna. The gopis by their lust, they were able to attract Krishna. Just like he's saying here, the demons, because of their mood of fighting, they were able to get liberation. Uddhava is remembering about this. The gopis just by their lust, we see this, Kubja, when Krishna was going to the palace to kill actually King Kamsa, and he was passing by and Kubja was there. She was hunchbacked. Nobody even can see her. It's like, cannot put your back straight. She looked, her hands were like kind of in, She's not looking very beautiful. Someone walking like this, hunchback, you don't want to see them. But she desired, look at her, she desired, oh, may this body, may it be enjoyed by Krishna. The least thing she had was not looks, the least thing she had was a body. But she desired, let this body, let me offer it to the Supreme Personality of God. And so when Krishna was passing by, she had some oils. So she was like kind of an oil seller, some ointment. She wanted to offer these oils to Krishna. And Krishna, seeing her body, could understand what was her mood. And Krishna came and he stepped on her toes and he pulled her with her chin, and she became very straight, very beautiful. Just by their lust, the gopis could attract Krishna. By the envy, it is said here, by the envy, the other kings like Kamsa and Shishupal attracted Krishna. Imagine Krishna fighting with Kamsa. Krishna went and Kamsa was sitting on the throne. And when Krishna came in the arena, all the Yadavas were very excited. Everyone was happy except who? Kamsa. And Kamsa sent his wrestlers to go and fight. And Krishna and Balaram beat them up and put them on the floor and defeated them. And then Krishna went running to Kamsa, who was seated within his throne. And he dragged him down. And Krishna sat on his chest and started punching him. Imagine what was the good fortune of Kamsa. It is said, Naham tishtanti vaikunto, yoginam hridayeshu va, tattat tishtanti narada, mad gayanti tad bhakta. I am not where the yogis are meditating. I am not where the jnanis are reading so many books. But I am that place where my devotees are always singing my glories. Krishna tells Narada. Imagine Kamsa. He was thinking about Krishna 24 hours. He was Krishna conscious, but in an ill way. He was not thinking about Krishna favorably. He was thinking, oh, this Krishna, I have sent Putana to kill him. I sent Trinavaka. I sent the demon Dhenukasura. He was always thinking like this, oh, I have to kill this Krishna. He was Krishna conscious, but in an ill way. But what was the result? The result was that Krishna sat on his chest, punching him. Look at that beauty. Look at that level of magnanimity. Look at that level of being merciful. That Krishna picks out the least thing that we have and he gives us the highest reward. Now imagine for a devotee who is chanting consciously, a devotee who is offering obeisances consciously, a devotee who is offering food and eating prasadam consciously. Just imagine their benefit. I think I heard about one devotee. He mentioned that one time there was a rat on the altar eating the ghee weeds. And because of the musks of the ghee, of the rat was being burnt. And when it was burning, the rat was burning, it started jumping out like this. And it was on the altar. And what did Krishna think? Oh, this rat is doing my arti. It has to come back to Vaikuntha. Imagine the devotee who is chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Imagine that devotee who is striving to perform pure devotional service. Imagine what is awaiting us. So Uddhava is thinking like this. So what should be our saving grace? The demons, their saving grace was their strength. They could fight. Srila Prabhupada in one of his lectures, he says, if you want to become a demon, become a big demon like Kamsa, that Krishna can come and fight with you. Their saving grace was that they could fight. Their saving grace of the gopis was that they were very attractive. And what should be our saving grace? Our saving grace should be our devotion. How much intense sadhana we can perform, how much intense devotional service we can do, this is what will attract us to Krishna. This is what Krishna will become attracted. We might not be able to have so much in our life that we can offer. But if we can offer Krishna the least that we have, but with devotion, Krishna will become attracted by this. If we have this faith, and we see in Srila Prabhupada's life, Srila Prabhupada, when he goes to America, he writes on the Jaladuta, that you have given me this name of Bhakti Vedanta, but my Lord, I am just a puppet in your hand. Make me dance, O Lord, make me dance as you like. And see what Prabhupada did? Just his devotion, he was able to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, even into a small place like this, Mombasa. So we can make miracles in our life. We can attract Krishna. Our saving grace can just be our devotional service. How much intense sadhana we can do. Of course, we cannot be like the demons. Start going with guns everywhere and killing people so Krishna can come. We're not recommending that. We can't become, incarnations of Kamsa. But we can go out, preach this Krishna consciousness. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter, text 68, Ya idam paramam ghuyam. That the most confidential devotee, the most dearest devotee to me, is one who gives out this knowledge. And this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted. Srila Prabhupada was asked once, how can we please you? And Srila Prabhupada said, if you want to please me, please distribute my books. And this is also what Krishna sees. Oh, this devotee is spreading my message. This person is dear to me. This person is dear to me. This is also what Krishna sees. How much are we engaged in telling others about him? This is natural. If you glorify your friend to someone else, your friend will naturally become pleased. So for us to come to this level of purity, we have to follow something that is called the 6 symptoms of devotional service. 6 symptoms. If we want to come to this level of purity, we have to make our heart a favorable place for Shri Krishna to reside. We have to follow the six processes, we have to have the 6 symptoms for devotional service, of which I'm going to read to you today. The first one is called Anukulasya Sankalpa. 6 symptoms of devotional service. If we want to understand that our heart is a place that Krishna can become attracted to. The first one, Anukulasya Sankalpa. We have to do only those favorable things for devotional service. We have to do things that are favorable to our bhakti. For example, we have to wake up early. We have to fast in Ekadashi. We have to try and give up the holy name to others. This is called Anukulasya Sankalpa. We are taking the vow of doing those things that are favorable to devotional service. And the second one, Pratikulasya Varjanam. We have to reject those things that are unfavorable to devotional service. We have to reject. These things, following the 4 regulative principles, breaking them, this is unfavorable to my devotional service. Everybody knows those weaknesses they have in their heart. There's nobody who is, you can say, becomes a saint overnight. It says that every saint had a past and every sinner has a future. Every saint had a past and every sinner has a future. So there's no one who comes becoming a saint. Everyone had a past. But once we have got this creeper of devotional service, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, we have to protect it from the weeds. You have a creeper, you want it to grow, you have to take care of the surrounding weeds. So those things that are unfavorable to our bhakti, unfavorable, we have to try and reject them. That's the second one. The third one, Rakshashi Yati Vishvasho. Having faith that Krishna is our only protector. Many times we don't have faith that Krishna is our protector. We think maybe the police, maybe the security guard, maybe the electric fence, maybe my grill, maybe my fingerprint, door opener. These are my protectors. But we have to have faith that only Krishna is our protector. Only Krishna is our protector. So many times we see that sometimes devotees go through big accidents, that the car is finished completely, but they didn't even get a scratch in their body. We have to cultivate that, oh Krishna, when you come and you stand on the altar, we have to think, what are we thinking? Do we stand in front of the altar thinking, oh Krishna, you are really the source of everything. You are my protector. You are the only one who can give me protection. This is how we have to think. This was the third one. The fourth one, Gopitre Varjanam. We have to accept Bhagavan, Krishna, as the only maintainer. We have to accept Krishna as the protector, was the third one. We have to accept Krishna as the maintainer, which is the fourth one. That really, Krishna, you are the only one who can give me maintenance. After all, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matu sarvam pravartate. That I am the source of everything. We have to think that Krishna, you are the only maintainer. It is said that if Krishna wants to give you something, your two hands are very less to hold. And if Krishna wants to take something, your two hands are small, you cannot even hold them. If Krishna wants to give you his two hands, you cannot hold it. Krishna can give you everything. And if Krishna wants to take these two hands, you can't hold it. Let's look at Srila Prabhupada's life. He went to America with 40 rupees. But because Krishna wanted to give him, today Iskcon is one of the richest religions in the world. Don't think we are poor. Srila Prabhupada was asked once, how much money do we have? And Prabhupada said, can you calculate how much money we have in Iskcon? How many people we are feeding every day? Hundreds of thousands. How many vehicles we are having? How many temples we are having? If Krishna wants to give you, you can't hold with your two hands. We have to have this faith that Krishna, you are our only maintainer. That's the fourth one. The fifth one, Atma Nikshepa. We have to have complete submission. Complete submission to oneself, to Krishna. We have to have the mood of submission. The mood of being a servant. The mood of thinking we are just an instrument. This is the meaning of Atma Nikshepa. Have the mood of just thinking that I am just an instrument in the hand of the Lord. I am not the achiever. I am not a doer. I am just a puppet, just how Prabhupada said. And the last one, Karpanaye. We have to feel meek and insignificant, and we have to feel very humble. We have to feel very insignificant. We have to think, I am nobody. I am just like a dust in this ocean of this material world. We have to think. We don't even have to think, actually. We have to feel. The problem is, many times we want to think, oh Prabhu, how can I serve you? We are very ready to fill our hands. Prabhu, how can I serve you? We are feeling insignificant. We are showing that we are insignificant. But we have to feel. We have to have the attitude of gratitude. The very, very important point. Many times in spiritual life, we don't have this mood of gratitude. We don't have this attitude of gratitude. We have to understand that somehow or the other, by some good fortune, we came to this Krishna conscious movement. We have to feel very, very grateful for where we are. From all the people who are wandering in the world, Krishna selected us. And He has brought us within His family. This family of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How grateful we have to be. How we should feel insignificant. We should become insignificant if about feeling. We should not have the mentality of ownership. We should perform our devotional service thinking that really Krishna, you are the greatest of the great. How can I understand you? How can I understand you, Krishna? No one can understand you. That you, the Supreme Personality of God, who is the owner of everything, you are able to give liberation to demons. Krishna, what can my devotion do for you? This should be our mood. And therefore Prabhupada prays like this, that Krishna, if you want to dance, make me dance, Krishna, according to your will. Ultimately, Krishna is everything. There is nothing that does not belong to Him. This should be the mood. So in conclusion, In this verse, we see that how Uddhava is remembering. When Uddhava was asked, he went in deep meditation when he was asked about Krishna. And in deep meditation, these thoughts are coming out. And here he's just praying to Krishna, who is known as Baba Grahi Janardana. Shri Shri Rukmini Dharpadi Shri Gaurikai Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Krishna is known as Baba Grahi Janardana. He just looks at your bhava. He looks at your mood. He looks at your submission. And he takes the least thing that you have. And he gives you the greatest thing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anyone has any question, any comment, any correction? Just a few thoughts on the verse.
Why the devotee always want to serve the lotus feet of the devotees in the Lord?
Why the devotees want to serve the lotus feet of the Lord?
Even devotees.
They want to serve the lotus feet of the devotees. No any thoughts on this? I think it's the lotus feet is like we serve the lotus feet is also like a sign of humility. We want to, like the lotus feet of the spiritual master. We want to sing. Like we want to fall down. Like we want our position to be at the lotus feet of the devotees. We want to try and cultivate our humility. This should be the mood. So if you want to,
yes. Also they want to take the dust of
the dust.
Lotus feet.
Yes, it is said. What is that? Bhakti Pad Jal, Bhakti Bhukta Avesha, Teen Mahabal. The dust from the feet of the devotee, the remnants from a devotee, and then the water from the feet of the devotee. Teen Mahabal. These three things are considered to be the potent forms of devotional service. With a lot of strength. When you see a devotee, you should run his feet, take all the dust, smear your whole body, not with perfume, but with the dust from the feet of the devotees. This should be, because it is said that the devotees are always thinking about Krishna so much. If you can smear yourself, if you can find a pure devotee and smear your body with that dust from his feet, then life becomes successful.
We are not doing it.
We should do. Why when we are not doing? Anand Prabhu is saying we are not doing, but we should do. This should be the mood. We should run after each other, catch the feet, take the dust.
Comes out of realization.
Yes.
You have to realize that.
You have to realize that. So sometimes we see when people come to the temple, they touch the feet, the stairs. They touch the stairs. Why? It's an ancient tradition that whoever has passed through here, let me take their dust before I enter into the kingdom of Krishna. But imagine those people who are waking up every day, performing some sadhana, who we are living, who we live with. Imagine how much purity they have. But the problem is, we think, oh, here there is no pure devotee. Let me look at that devotee. Oh, he has come from Vrindavan. Here. Oh, he must be pure. Arey Baba, pure devotees are living amongst each other. But the problem is, we cannot see. We cannot see. One time Srila Prabhupada was asked, Swamiji, how many pure devotees do you have in your movement? And then Prabhupada asked his secretary, how many devotees do we have in Iskcon? That is the amount of pure devotees. But of course, to find a prema bhakti, to find one who has prema bhakta, is very, very rare. It's very, very rare. One who has real devotion for Krishna. It's very, very rare. Narayana parasarve nakutaschana bidbiti. One who is like ready to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a Narayan Parayan. Such a person to find is very, very rare. Someone who is surrendered fully. So we stop here, unless you want to share some comments, some thoughts, Prabhu.
It is said humility is a gateway to the spiritual world. One of the most important character that the Vaishnavas should have. Humility is also the ornament of a Vaishnava. So sometimes we may calculate that, oh, how do I know whether he is a pure devotee, why should I touch his feet? We may have that kind of mentality. Like Srila Prabhupada said, how many pure devotees we have, how many devotees do we have in this society? So instead of coming into that calculation, maybe he's a pure devotee, he's not a pure devotee, whatever. In general, when we accept a devotee who is chanting the holy name of Krishna as a devotee, and if we show that due respect, Krishna noticed that.
Yeah.
It's up to Krishna to determine whether this individual is pure or not, but we've done our bit from our side out of humility.
Yeah.
So that actually rewards so much benefit from Krishna. So, let Krishna decide who is his favorite.
Pure and who is not
From
pure.
our end, our devotee is to show respect to the Guru, to show respect to all the devotees. Anyone who's chanting Krishna's name, anyone who's taking up devotional service, we must not calculate. So, I think in Vrindavan, when Shri Krishna also walks in Ramarati, his lotus feet is printed. It's amazing that that print of his lotus feet in Vrindavan Ramarati is so sacred that when all the cows and the calves, when they come in, they know Krishna's lotus feet. Everyone just moves around it. So in other words, that Krishna's lotus feet was never touched. It was vivid. Everyone knows where Krishna went, because everybody else's footprint is all disturbed with the cows and the calves, but Krishna's lotus feet stays intact. So we have to have that due respect for the feet of the devotee. It's a sign of humility.
Absolutely. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes.
Yes, in fact, we are called upon as devotees to give respect to all the different questions of the devotees. May they be Kanishta, may they be Uttama, okay? That for even one who just chants the name of Krishna once is actually supposed to be elevated to the highest platform. It's supposed to be given the same respect to give to Uttama, because it's just chanting the name of Krishna. So if we can take that as our bottom line, as devotees, then actually we shall be on the right path. Now the other thing is about this kubja. Kubja, according to Mahabharata, used to go and make sandalwood paste for cancer. And that she make grind that every day. But the day that she met Krishna, she was so attracted to Krishna. Krishna was so attracted that she couldn't
Go to see Kamsa.
She could go and see Kamsa, so she followed wherever Krishna went. And Krishna went and saw her and said, well, what are you carrying? That is so sweet smelling. Krishna could also stand their sandal paste. And Krishna went to her and said, well, can I have a little bit of that? But she was so smitten. She didn't know what to do. So she just bowed down and when Krishna lifted her up, it's just like she got that liberation. The other thing is that we as devotees, we can also learn from the demons. There are certain particular qualities that the demons have that are actually devotional qualities. You know that every quality that they have is bad. And one thing that the demons always have a favor. It's very rare to find a demon appearing in a Brahman family or a Vaishya or maybe a Shiva. You find that they're always within the category of Kshatriyas. And Kshatriyas, they're assured of liberation if they can be cured in the battlefield. So the demons already know that. And they say, okay, I'll be a demon, but then I'll have to go and have my fallback plan. And that fallback plan is just being a Kshatriya.
Thank you. Okay, the last point from Prabhu.
It's not a point, it's a question. So, what precedes what? Is it surrender or humility?
What precedes the other? Is it humility comes before surrender or surrender comes before humility? I think humility comes before surrender.
I makes sense.
You cannot surrender unless you are humble.
Yeah, you cannot surrender until you are humble. If you are not humble, how can you surrender? We speak about surrender. Surrender is like the goal. Humility is the process. The process has to come before the goal. So, okay, we stop here. Thank you very much. Gantrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Govind Prem Prabhu ki jai.
Take the prasad in dining. Prasad at